Welcome to my kitchen. Hi, I am world-renowned artist extraordinaire Bethan Jayne, and you are sat here with me in my kitchen studio, I guess you'd call it. It's not really a studio, I just plonk myself in the corner and I get to work. I think we should start with a tour, don't you? So, why art? That's a big question. Why do I do what I do? I guess we need to go quite far back. I don't think I ever saw myself as an artist. I loved creating things as a kid, like most kids do. But I never saw myself as an artist. Well, I don't think I saw myself as an artist. And then I saw a drawing that I did of myself as an artist when I was younger, and I think that's so bizarre because the plan was always primary education. That was where I was going to go. And then my art teacher, Mr. Havel, was like, why are you not doing art? I guess I'm doing primary education, that's the avenue I've planned for myself. And then we get to just before my maths AS level, I was sat revising and it just came to my head, why am I not going to art school? And that's when I decided to go to art school, and it was honestly the best decision I ever made. I can't imagine myself anywhere else at all. What is my practice? My practice is very varied, fun and colourful, and it's taken me on a journey to say the least. Yeah, because like when I started art school I was like, I'm a painter and nothing but a painter. I only used acrylic paint, and I'm happy to, like, I love learning, so I'm happy to like experiment and try new things, but at the same time I was like, I'm not going to do anything but painting. And now I don't paint like at all which I quite like. And then I started dabbling in like performance and like textiles and papier-mâché and sculpture, and now we're here, and it's, yeah, I'm happy to like where I've got to in my work. The ideas behind my work again are very varied. I get bored quite easily with what I make, so I'll like start one project, really enjoy it, by the end be so bored I need to move on to something else, and I like to do something completely different, worlds away. I think that really brings them together is using those ideas to explore my sense of self. I think that's what ties them together and why I'm interested. Learning about myself and my identity through what I create. Body of work on my ancestry. I was looking at my family tree for my nan. She wanted to find some relatives, so I went through, and it's quite addictive. If you've never done it, it's very addictive because you start with like your immediate family, the family that you know, and then suddenly you've got 8 generations, and it's very much like overwhelming. I went back quite far. I think I got back to my like 8th great grandparents. Suddenly there's this person, Josiah Wilkes, who was a prisoner on a prison boat on the way to transportation to Australia because he'd been found guilty of forging coins with his cousin, and there was only so much information about it, the website and some like documents, so I kind of used the basis to create my own storyline and my own character of Josiah and his family, and within that process I became Josiah. I've always been interested in drag and becoming someone else, which is quite evident through my other works. So I was Josiah, and it was really fun to do that. I got full dressed up, I wore a beard and a wig and makeup and costume, and I performed as him. I went to his grave, which was surreal, and I really enjoyed that body of work, exploring photography quite a lot more, exploring costume a lot more, learning how to make a publication, learning how to just become someone else, and with the freedom that no one else knows that character like you do. It was really exciting experience, and just enjoyable. And make people laugh as well. That's really important in my work, is making people laugh, and me presenting myself as this male character made people laugh, and I love that. I think it's great. And my next body of work is Territory. Territory was kind of in conjunction with the Fierce Festival. They allowed us to go into their archives and to look at the material from when the Fierce Festival began. I've been working with my family archives, and to work with another set of archives was really different, especially because I'd never been to a physical archive. All the archives I'd used prior were digital. What was a shame, I didn't really connect with the material, like any particular piece, but what I began to find was the community created by the festival, you know, bringing together performers from across the world, people who love art, people who love to perform, and creating this community of people. And I loved that theory, and I was reading a lot around Norbert Elias and The Established and the Outsiders, and a lot of his works, that I just really felt the need to explore this idea of community, because community is really important to me. The communities you create of people are so key. So I began to create papier-mâché masks that would make up the community together, and then I embodied one of those masks. It kind of became the head of the community, and again, yeah, becoming this character, concealing my own identity, becoming someone else, also protecting myself in a way. This community becomes a way to protect yourself when you're part of it. And then the pandemic hit, which was very unexpected and threw a spanner in the works, because it kind of threw a lot of my ideas out the window. I began to work with video work and projections at home, making my own projectors with like cardboard boxes and magnifying glasses. And then I thought, I'm just gonna make my own exhibition at home. So I used my cupboard, and the cupboard gallery was born. I used all the works I'd created, like the masks and paintings on paper, and I curated it in like a really small space, and it became a community basically. I just constructed in a way that it became, you entered this cupboard and you were part of a community. I made it in a way that it would be accessible through a digital space, so I created like programs of events and reading lists and a publication and a floor map, so people knew what they were looking at. I created an Instagram page where all the works were listed, so people could kind of see each piece, and then I did like an Instagram live event where I opened the exhibition for people to see, and it was like a round view of the exhibition as well as like a videoing of the projection work. It became a kind of immersive experience. It was definitely challenging, because putting on a gallery space in your cupboard that's quite small is a challenge, but I enjoyed the challenge, and I enjoyed what came out of it as well, and it got a good response, and I'd love to do it again. I think everyone should have a go at that. Everyone should curate a gallery at their house. Come on to my current body of work, which is surrounding ideas of my childhood, which is a tough one. Exploring your childhood is hard, I have to say. Lockdown gave me a lot of time to reflect on myself and how I am the person I am today. It began by, I was doing some workshops with my cousin now, who is absolutely wonderful, and we did a lot of like online workshops, and we created work together and we had discussions, and it kind of helped me get into like the mindset of a child. She made things and I made papier-mâché sculptures in response, and so for example she did like drawings of herself and I made them into papier-mâché to kind of bring them to life a bit more, which both she and I really enjoyed. And the papier-mâché being quite like a childish material felt really important to me to use. And then I kind of moved on to myself, looking through my childhood drawings and I began stitching them into fabric, and that was really exciting for me. Kind of bringing them to life. I made a blanket out of them, this security blanket, this item which is a transitional object. It brings you from your mother to yourself. It just represents a part of me. I really liked that aspect of bringing my drawings together, bringing them to life. I began to sew the designs into t-shirts and clothing so I can wear them quite close to me. This idea that your childhood always kind of looms above you, especially if you had kind of rockier points in them, which I'm really grateful for. Honestly, I'm grateful for every part of my childhood, regardless of whether it was good or bad. So again, this character of my childhood, this character of regression has kind of cropped up, and they're just there, and they don't have a name. They don't even have much characterization to them. They just kind of look like someone is trapped inside like a mask and clothing, and they can't break free from their childhood. They can't move on from that part of them. And I've been really exploring with ideas of film, bringing this character to life, putting it in different parts of my house, showing how it looms over me. It's going to be something which is key. It's also been quite nice though to look at my child. It's been quite therapeutic. Who needs therapy when you can be an artist and just do that instead? Inspirations is a hard one because I get inspiration from anywhere. Honestly, anywhere. Most of my ideas come to me when I'm in bed. To a lot of shows, different kind of shows, drag shows, concerts, musicals, comedy shows. So I kind of take pieces from all those shows I see. So it just kind of, my work becomes like an amalgamation of my surroundings. In terms of artists, there are a lot of artists. My favourite artist in the world is Jim Moyer, who is better known as Vic Reeves and the comedy duo with Bob Mortimer. I grew up watching their comedy. I can remember the first day I got the Stella Reeves and Mortimer on VHS. I got it from a cancer research charity shop when I was about 5. Been lucky enough to see Reeves and Mortimer live multiple times. I think I'm on 6 times now. They've been so formative in my upbringing. I see them as massive male role models to me, and so they have been really influential on both me and my work. And kind of growing up watching comedy, them and Rick Mellon and Edmondson, and the comic strip and that era of comedy, I kind of grew myself up on that. Means that I find it really important to make my work humorous in certain ways. I love making people laugh so much. My dream job is to be a comedian. I just know I'm not funny enough for that. Brian Dawn Chalkley, Andy Holden, Nikki DeSanfow. I love all of their work. If I just sit here and list them, we'll be here all day. Lemon is one of the most exciting projects I've ever had the pleasure of being involved with. It came out of the pandemic and the first lockdown, such a dark time, and to make something so exciting with a group of people I adore is amazing. And so it was formed by myself, Dyson Asbury, Carmela Vienna and Andrea Pizzaroo, and we wanted to create a community of artists, especially those who are like young and up and coming being the most like important word here, because not everyone gets their start as soon as they finished art school, and not everyone goes to art school when they're young. So that's kind of where we wanted to begin, creating a platform for artists to share work, share ideas, sell their work, publish writings, put on exhibitions, be promoted, to kind of get a start. Yeah, that's what we wanted to create, so that's where Round Lemon came from. It's just amazing.